Hi everyone, this is Spiritual Teacher for You. Welcome to my channel, but this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I feel a specific topic coming forward about marriage. And what I'm feeling is a collective of people who are married, who have been married, or not even married. You know what? Not even marriage, long-term committed relationships where y'all have been through a lot together. You have basically blended your lives together. You probably live together. Just a lot of integration of each other's lives. I'm getting blended families. I'm getting blended finances. I'm getting I'm getting step parents here. So, and I feel like these relationships and dynamics are at a kind of a crossroads where they can feel that, like, huh, we're starting to really get on each other's nerves. We're starting to get triggered. We're starting to argue a little bit more. And it's like people go, "Oh, well, maybe things aren't working out. Maybe we're not meant to be together." All of a sudden there's this fear like, "Oh, the boat's being rocked. What does this mean?" So I feel like there is a specific channeled message that I am currently getting that Spirit is wanting me to put out there for those of you going through this time where you're starting to question, are we meant to make it? So tune in. Let's see what they got to say. So this is for a collective that I'm not talking about a collective who the relationship has become overly toxic and abusive. I'm talking about relationships where you're just not getting along anymore. This is, so if you're in an abusive relationship, physically abusive, mentally abusive, please do what's right for you. Please get out of that, honestly. But I am feeling die-hard energies where once they make a commitment to someone, they fully believe you are committed. Unconditional love means you love them unconditionally. Right. You can love them unconditionally without being beaten or mentally abused, right? You can love them without subjecting yourself to those toxic energies. Just like you would put up a boundary with a friend you found toxic and you made a commitment to this person. Some commitments are not meant to be in physically together if one person has not done the healing. And if you continue to be subjected to that unhealed energy, it prevents you from doing the healing, right? So people can have philosophical conversations about that topic, about dedication, loyalty, and love. It means different things to different people. What I'm learning is, or the question I'm hearing is, what are you willing to do for love? Why are you willing to subject yourself to physical pain and bruising, or mental pain and bruising, and heart pain and bruising, to keep someone around? Like, the love there isn't equal. So I'm just getting something about, you may love someone very deeply who has done that to you. But really there's a reflection needed to, like, a reflection that's needed. Like, why are you willing to put up with that abuse? Okay. Why are you willing to put up with that? And I'm getting neglect here. So for some of the collective, the marriage feels neglected. Like, you both have started, as I moved my hands apart, the energy was pushing apart. And that's because when you come together, you trigger each other. So you want to kind of separate yourself, and that's a healthy thing to do, because then it allows you the reflective lens to be like, why am I getting triggered every time I'm around them? But that's when honesty comes in and affirming that you want the truth. Because once you are being honest with yourself as to your part in this triggeredness, then that is when healing happens. Unfortunately, what happens is you get triggered by this person that you love so much, and you're like, why are they triggering me? Why are they doing this to me? What's their problem? When And then the other thing is you're triggering them. So then they're like, why are they doing this to me? So then there's this like total blockage of miscommunication here, that happens because you start to not trust each other. You start to question everything. You start to be paranoid. You start to get defensive and offended by everything, and it really turns into this toxic cycle. But that's a phase, as long as you're willing to keep moving forward. And at some point, someone in the relationship goes, I've had enough. Something has to change. And if we're not willing to figure this out, then this relationship is not going to work. But at some point, something has to change. Well, this is how I feel. This is how I feel. This is how I view what you're doing. This is how I view what you're doing. There's this conversation that needs to be had so that you can totally understand where each other is coming from. And so once that conversation is had, you've now spoken your truth. And I'm going to just tell you right now, when that honest conversation comes in, and I hear it, I feel you, I hear you going, I've been honest. I've been saying how I feel. To a degree, yeah. There's levels of honesty, though. You've been honest on a surface level. You've been honest maybe even a level deeper. But there's so many deeper levels of honesty that you've yet to dive into. And those are the ones that you will be hitting when you fully communicate to your partner how you've been feeling, how you've been triggered. Because I'm feeling from some of you that you're hiding how you're truly feeling because you don't want to appear whiny, petty, traumatized, like you have baggage. Well, guess what? You do have baggage that you've not dealt with. And so now y'all are at a point now that you're both being like, the baggage is being lifted up to your face like, hey, you stuffed this in a corner and it lasted a long time, but it was always there nagging at you. Things would come up, you'd push it back down. Things would come up, you'd push it back down. Well, eventually when you do that, what happens is you can't push it down anymore. It comes up. And what happens is, okay, it'll stay down, but then your soul is going, we want to grow. We want to heal. And you can feel this higher calling, and that's your higher self going, hey, this stuffed baggage down here is like an anchor. It is weighing you down. You can only go so far up with it weighing you down. And so there's this cutting of cords of the weight that needs to be had, which is a process. Sometimes it happens just like that. Cut it, it's gone. But sometimes, but the energy still lingers. So yeah, I'm getting like the parachute balloon, when you're sitting in the basket and you cut the sandbags and so you start lifting up. That's what I see. But there's a whole process to this. So this is for those collectives that are going through this time where you're having to make a choice. Are you going to elevate your relationship, or is this where it ends? And I don't see it being a gray area where, oh, it could work, or no, you're being forced to choose right now. And I think that's why Spirit's wanting me to give this message, is you're being forced to choose. Do I allow myself to be vulnerable and honest and open in order to see if this relationship can move forward? Because what I'm feeling is that you've done so much to try to heal this relationship, except for the one thing you still need to do, and that's being fully honest, fully honest all the time. Now, I'm not saying you have to go and tell all your deepest things to them. Some of it's just not relevant anymore, but it's almost like there's this need to be honest when the time is right to be honest, if that makes sense. It's not like you are just going like, I just see someone like choosing the most awkward time to bring up a serious conversation. Like, you just need to feel when it's right to bring up the seriousness. Or if you don't, be like, plan a date day, and then on that date just be like, hey, I feel like this date is needed, like we just need to go out. And instead of planning a date, set aside the time for the space to give y'all a chance to. And I feel like what y'all have done is fill the space with a lot of busyness, so that you're not forced to deal with the triggering you feel in each other. I feel people who have kids and they use their kids to distract them from really working on your relationship. So there is this like needing to get away to really protect the energy around y'all's relationship in order to really bring up and have these honest conversations. So I'm getting someone going away for the weekend, maybe to the mountains, to a cabin, and maybe in that time having some real deep, honest, truthful, vulnerable conversations, talking about, just putting your ego aside. And when you feel yourself getting heated or triggered, be like, I'm feeling triggered by what the energy of whatever you're saying right now. And I'm just telling you, and then I can feel the tears coming. So there's this just open, okay, I'm getting to tell you my experience. My husband and I were going through a situation similar to this. And there was this moment where I was like, Cassie, you can either be super honest right now, or you can continue to say the same things you've been saying that get y'all nowhere. So you're going to have to be super honest here. And so I just let it flow. And of course, letting that flow, the tears were flowing. And normally I try to fight them back, or I like hide my face, or, I was just I'm like, blah, 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 and I'm just letting it fly. And I'm sure I look like a hot mess, but I knew in the moment that I had to do that. And it was the most vulnerable feeling I've had in a long, long time, because I was expressing so much raw emotion. My husband didn't know what to do with it. He truly didn't know what to do. But that gave him the opportunity to also be vulnerable. And so his showed up eventually as well. But I think I had to do that first to give him the like green light of like, go ahead, like, hey, I'm willing to look silly and wet and gross and be vulnerable with you, because I want us to heal this thing and not let it be why we don't flourish in our marriage, So an honest conversation is needed for the collective that I'm tapping into. And, I'm tapping into a collective now that you've always wanted to appear like you had it all figured out, like the love you have between you and your husband or you and your partner. It's like, it's the best love and it's meant to be. And it's like nothing is wrong. We talk through everything. And you want to appear that way to people. And there's like this needing to let go of caring about what people think about your marriage and the appearance of it, and just focusing on the fact that you're real people that have baggage and trauma, and you're healing, but you get to heal with your person. And some people don't get to do that, but you are being faced with the opportunity to do this healing, or to continue to hold on to baggage, which will ultimately ruin your relationship. But then you'll just take that baggage into the next relationship, and unless you deal with it, then it will continue down. Okay. So that's it for this message. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this reaches who it's supposed to reach. I have full faith that it will. And this is a timeless message, but I felt that it needed to get out there to give some perspective. Do you want to heal in this current relationship, or do you want to heal alone? Because if you don't do the healing, you're just going to continue to repeat patterns, okay? I'm sending so much love to you guys. I actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a prayer now, and I'm going to call on Archangel Michael to please protect everyone's path that has chosen to elevate and chosen this spiritual path to awaken and come into balance with their feminine and masculine, and they want to know the truth and have clarity, and they want to break away illusions of falsehood and facades. And so Archangel Michael, please allow that, protect that path. And Archangel Gabriel, please help in communicating our truth to our partners and to ourselves and being honest with ourselves. Archangel Raphael, I'm asking you to send your healing powers down to us and heal this fear and self-doubt, this fear of being vulnerable, this doubt that things will work out. Please send healing energy at this time and heal this heart space for those tuning in. Allow their heart space to open and feel safe to be vulnerable. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just felt like this whoosh of like closing up of protective energy over this. So if you're tuning into this message, everything's gonna be all right. And you're on the right path, okay? Much love and light. Bye.